Welcome back. Here we are to talk about our next artist. This week we're going to be talking about Pablo Picasso. Now he's one of the most famous artists, and so you might already have heard his name before. Unlike Grandma Moses, where she didn't have any formal training as an artist, Pablo Picasso had the benefit of having a father and a mother who were both artists. And so early on, he was able to get lots of training, and his father identified very early on in his young teen years, that he had talent. And so he was able to enroll into an art school where he was able to learn some skills. And he actually broke a lot of the rules when it comes to art. And so it's hard for him to follow everything that his instructors were telling him. We are moving into the type of art that we call abstract art, but more specifically with Picasso, it was Cubism. Now, you might remember when we talked about Stravinsky, how he was kind of the Picasso of the music time, of the musicians, of the composers. Well, Picasso, the reason we called Stravinsky that is because Picasso tried lots of new things. Just like Stravinsky in the music had new rhythms and tones and different ways of doing music and different sounds, Picasso took the things that he was looking at and represented them in new ways. And so instead of drawing a portrait and making it look just like someone might look, he would take the shapes and move them around, or make the eye, that one eye looking forward and the other looking to the side, as if you're seeing a head-on photo or a head-on painting, and also a side view painting, all at the same time. And so you'll see with his art that there's lots of different techniques that he used and kind of mixed things up. As he grew, he did different. He has different types of periods of time that he went through. He went through like a blue period when he was sad, and a lot of his paintings were blue. And then he had a rose period, and as he went through time, there's just different periods that were marked by different themes, as we could say, of his art. Now I'm going to show you a few of his pieces that show. Here's a piece by him where he drew someone sitting there, and as you can see, the Cubism style here is showing where he's doing the eyes in different locations, and even the different shapes that he uses to represent the human form here are different than what we're used to seeing in more realism, and this was new at the time. I want to show you this other book. If you want to learn more about him and his life, there's even a Who Was book about him. You can see some of his drawings here of the different style that he did. And then here there's some drawings and more about him and his life. An interesting book if you want to read more about him. Now here's another one. This is of a woman looking in the mirror, and you can see the different shapes, different colors, and how he represented the human form. Very different, but really neat, and really changed things for art, and kind of paved the way for this Cubism and the modern and the abstract art. Picasso lived between 1881 to 1973. Here's a photo of him, and he grew up in Spain and then later moved to Paris. Now, for our art project today, I thought we'd do something a little bit fun, because with Picasso, it's a little bit different. And so I have this sheet here, and it says Roll-A-Picasso. And so if you can grab a die, and we're going to roll it, and that's going to tell us how we're going to make our Picasso portrait. So we're going to use a piece of cardstock here and a Sharpie for our materials. And then once we're finished drawing, you can get out some oil pastels for some bright, vibrant colors, because his colors were so vibrant in a lot of his pictures. Here's the oil pastels I'm going to be using today, because they'll make a great way to color our portraits. So have your paper portrait style, so that's up and down here because we're going to be doing a face. And we're going to get our Roll-A-Picasso here to determine what our face is going to look like. So we're going to start the first roll here in this first column, so this first roll, which is going to be the head shape. So get your die out, roll it, and see what shape you're going to be drawing. Okay, I'm going to roll mine. Got it here, and I have a 6. That's this one down here. So go ahead and roll yours and see what shape your head is going to be. I'm going to start drawing mine. So I'm going to get out my Sharpie because it's going to be some nice lines for it. So mine that I drew is kind of a triangle shape. If you rolled any of these, draw that shape nice and big because that's going to be your portrait. So my face is going to be like this, kind of a diamond-y shape. Funny shape for a head, isn't it? That's okay. Second roll, I rolled a 1. So our second roll is going to be what our first eye looks like. So on one side of your portrait, you're going to draw this eye. So I'm going to draw this, and I'm going to go ahead and roll and see what my second eye is going to be. Ooh, I rolled a 5 for that one, so the second one's going to look like this. All right, so let me go ahead and draw those. So my first eye I'm going to put on this side. I'm going to put here. And then my second eye, you don't have to make them the same place aligned. This is not one of our symmetry drawings this time. Part of what Picasso did was he made it asymmetric. So you can take your second eye. Mine is number 5, so I'm going to draw mine, and I'm going to draw it down here a little bit. And just copy what's on your paper, but choose where you're going to put it. So I've got an eye here and an eye here. Interesting, huh? All right, now for the fourth roll is going to be the nose. So let's see, what nose am I going to get? I'm going to roll, and I rolled another 5. Okay, so my nose is going to look like this nose. Go ahead and roll your die and see what nose you're going to be drawing. Okay, I'm going to put my nose right here. All right, next is the mouth. Here we go, another roll. And I rolled a number 3. Okay, so let's look. So we've got our mouth as the 5th roll. I rolled number 3, and I've got this shape is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put mine right here. So go ahead and roll yours and draw your shape. That's what I've got so far. Okay, next we're going to be drawing the ears. So roll number 6 and roll number 7 are going to be for the ears. So go ahead and roll your die once and then roll it again to see what ears you're going to get. I'm going to roll mine and see. All right, I've got a 4. Ooh, so that my ear is going to look like this. Which one are you going to roll? And I'm going to roll for my other ear. Ooh, number 1. Okay, so I'm going to have this one. So number 4 and number 1 is what I'm going to draw. So go ahead and draw whatever you rolled. All right, I'm going to put this one over here. Now remember, you don't have to be exactly where it might appear. Maybe you're going to do it higher, maybe you're going to do it lower than what you usually have. I'm going to put this ear nice and high up here. There's the other ear. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So once you have your portrait drawn based on your rolls, you can get out your oil pastels and let's add some color to these. Remember this picture I showed you at the beginning? Do our portraits kind of look like that? Yeah, a little bit, don't they? But now we need to add some color. See how brightly colored this is? And they're not colors that you would necessarily find in nature or in people that they normally would be. You can even see how this face, half of it is yellow and half of it is tan color, peachy color. So you can add the color as you please. No rules here really. Okay, so I'm going to start off with mine, and I really like that, how half of it was one color and half was the other. So I'm going to take one of my yellow oil pastels, and I'm going to do that with mine. And I'm going to see how bright these are. It's nice, so you can color it in. It's a lot like using crayons, but you don't have to work as hard, and you can blend the colors together too, which is really cool. So you can color. Now you can color over your Sharpie markers. That's the nice thing about using these nice bold, and you can still see it, or you can go around it if you don't want to. So I'm going to color like this part yellow, and I'll show you that, and then you can color the rest of it however you want. Like maybe you want the lips to be red, and maybe only part of it's red, and maybe part of it's another color, like, oh, purple might be cool. So let's do purple here. And then maybe I want this other eye over here to be, let's see, would green be cool? Let's do a bright, ooh, I know, like a bright green for this eye here. I like that. So you get the idea, right? You can start coloring with your oil pastels, spin them around, and get these nice bright colors going and see what you come up with. Okay, I've finished coloring mine, and look how fun it looks. Enjoy creating your Picasso portraits, and if you have fun with this, try it several times, because every time you do it, it will look differently. Try different eyes, put them in different locations, different ears, different mouths. You can even create your own. You don't have to go with what's on the sheet. You can create your own portrait the way you want to interpret what a face could look like if you were doing Cubism like Picasso. Enjoy!